Hi, my name is Melissa Moore and I'm here to share a lesson plan with you using your Lumen's Ladibug document camera. This is a novel study for the book Drita, My Homegirl. And what you're going to need today is you're going to need your Lumen's Ladibug document camera, your LCD projector, an interactive whiteboard or screen. And you don't actually have to have the interactive whiteboard, but if you do, all Lumen's document cameras integrate with all interactive whiteboards, so that's great to know, and I'll show you some of the things that you can do to integrate that in your classroom. What you're also going to need is your book, probably a class set of Drita, My Homegirl, also reading journals so that the students can write their notes in there, and graphic organizer, which I'm going to go over in a minute. When we start this lesson off, the teacher's going to want to build background knowledge of what's going to happen in this story. So because the girl in this story has come over from Albania, you want to ask your students, have you ever moved here from another country, felt alone? What did it feel like? Or have you ever gone to a new school and felt like the new kid? And have your class discuss how that feels, so that everybody in the class, whether they've ever felt that before, will understand how Drita feels in the book Drita, My Homegirl. Now, after building your background knowledge and discussing being new to school or being new to the United States, you're going to show them vocabulary words. Now, I found 5 vocabulary words that I thought would be interesting, especially in this story, and you can zoom in from your Ladibug document camera, either through a remote or manually. Now, if you have older children, which this lesson plan is really for 5th grade, they're not going to know these words. So you could either, if they did know them, you could write them up on the board and have the students come up on your interactive whiteboard and try to define them for the class. But these words are going to be words that Drita uses for the most part. Sometimes they're Albanian words, and there's going to be a lot of Albanian words in the book, and have the students write them down in their reading journals so that you can go over those words with them if they're unsure what they mean. So the word baba actually is Albanian for father, and I use that in a sentence to make them understand how it works. Gishi is grandmother. The word dawdling means to loiter. Some students wouldn't know what that means. A bazaar. If you ask them what a bazaar is, they might say, that's bizarre. So they have to see the spelling of the word, and you tell them that it's a market. And in Drita's country, she was used to seeing many markets or bazaars in her country. Now, the word cab can mean a lot of things to students. Now, of course, if they don't live in New York or other states that have a lot of taxis, you're going to have to explain what a cab or a taxi is. So those are just the first couple of words that are important to read, especially as you're going to go over the first chapter with the students. Now what you're going to want to do is have them listen to you as you're going to make predictions. You're going to read the first chapter of the book and then have the students make predictions, but you're going to model the think aloud process for them as you read the book. Now they're going to have their own copies and you're going to have yours. So as you read, then you're going to say, what do you think of Drita and Maxie so far? What do you think will happen next? And ask the students to write their predictions in their reading journals, and of course you can share that with the class. Now, after you've read halfway through the book, you're gonna keep reading with the students. Have them listen. You're gonna keep reading along. What you're gonna do is have them write notes thinking about how can you tell which character is speaking. You can write that on a blank sheet of paper pretty much. You can take that here, write what you want here on your board, and your students can see it. So at any time you want to put something on the board last minute, right here, the questions that they need to answer while they're reading. So you can put those questions. How can you tell which character is speaking? Where is the main setting of the story? What is the plot of the story? And then have them continue to read with you. Now, after the reading, I would say probably read halfway through the story. You're going to ask how many students have ever felt like Drita? How many of you have felt like Maxie? Now, each of the girls have different lives, but some people have had that opportunity to experience either what Drita has felt or how Maxie has felt. So now that you know that Maxie protects Drita from Brandy, what do you think will happen next? And then you're going to guide that discussion with them as well. After your discussion with the students, you're going to want them to gather their notes and their reading journals together, and they're going to write in this character comparison sheet, which is a graphic organizer by Scholastic. I just pulled it off the internet. Pretty easy. And of course you can zoom in and let them see this in your classroom. What they'll do is write the title and the author. They're going to compare what they already know about Drita and Maxie. You're going to write their character similarities and their character differences. This is going to help them do a narrative writing that you're going to ask them to do in a few minutes. So after you give them about 10 minutes to complete this task, you're then going to have them use their notes and their graphic organizer to write a personal narrative about a time in their life when they felt bullied or alone, like Drita. So the narrative should be about a page in length minimum, and I would give them about 20 to 30 minutes to complete this task. So again, using the character comparison sheet and giving them vocabulary words beforehand, like I said, would be great to have, especially when they're going to write this narrative at the end to extend their learning. At the end, what you can do is have a student actually bring up their personal graphic organizer, bring it up to the board, and share what they thought the characters had. Their characters were similar and what their character differences were. And the student can lead the discussion with the class and also talk more about what they learned as a class about Drita and Maxie. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please look for more.